We all know the Suns want to force a trade, but a new report says the Bucks are just as desperate, doing everything they can to make a deal. So ESPN put out a list of how desperate teams are. The Warriors and Lakers at the very bottom with low. Kinda sucks for LeBron James. Then the Nets, Bulls, Grizzlies, Knicks, and Heat are all medium level. Want to trade, but not going to force anything. But at the top is the Suns, and right below is the Milwaukee Bucks, which is shocking because of how well they played. Why are they that desperate? But then ESPN tells us who they are shopping and connected to some major names. So I want to look at what Giannis even needs to win a second championship because a massive deal is coming. But a quick break to show you what I eat in a day to go from my heaviest to my leanest. So I have 5 meals a day. I start out with oatmeal, and then I have 4 meals from My Fit Foods. First, it is the salmon bowl, then it is the Moroccan chicken, then the fried rice. I finish the day off with their orange chicken. I eat this 7 days a week. I do have one cheat meal, but in about 3 months, I can cut myself down all the way to being extremely lean. And the best part, anyone can do this and it's affordable and tasty. My Fit Foods has a ton of options for you guys to try, and I've tried a lot of these prepped meal services. My Fit Foods by far the best I have ever had. So use my promo code AMHOOPS30 to get 30% off. You can walk right into a store if you live in Houston, Portland, or Denver. It really helps out the channel. You guys get affordable, tasty meals. That is code AMHOOPS30. So we all remember how bad the Bucks were to start the year, 2-8. Everybody was freaking out because Giannis in the past has hinted that if they can't win, he is out. But since then, the third best record in the NBA, behind only OKC and Cleveland, the #1 seeds, won the NBA Cup. So how did they get this good? I'll give you a hint. It's not Giannis and Dame, which is really weird. So you have to break down their season into tens. The first 10 games, they were 2-8 with the 19th worst offense. Next 10 games, they go 9-1, number 5 offense. The next 10, 5-5, offense drops to 20th. Then this last quarter, 9-4, 9th best in the NBA. So the offense is inconsistent, but you know what isn't? The defense. It is at or near top 10 every night. Defense has been this team's identity, which you'd never expect. Like Dame plus Giannis equals buckets, right? Well, that's why they need this trade. The team can get stops, but the offense is not there every night, especially against the best teams. The Bucks are 0-8 against the Cavs, Celtics, and Knicks. The 3 teams they're chasing in the East, they have to do something. Sometimes they look great, like the 5-game win streak recently. They're sharing the ball, Dame's outside shot, complimenting Giannis. Giannis has that gravity inside so Dame can work. But then they go cold, play all ISO-heavy 1990s basketball, which is easy to defend. So the fix is obvious. They plug this hole, and we could see Giannis back in the finals, Dame actually win a ring. So ESPN says they are willing to trade Chris Middleton, Pat Connaughton, and Bobby Portis. I'm concerned about that because you're not going to get much for those guys. Instead, the big surprise this year has been the young players. The Bucks bench is actually the 2nd best in the NBA since their bad start. How's that for no depth? Young guys like AJ Green, 25 years old, Andre Jackson Jr., 23 years old, Ryan Rollins, 22, and Gary Trent Jr., who's 26, not super young, but he's great. Doc Rivers has a reputation for not playing young guys, but these have been so good, they're knocking vets out of the lineup. So are they willing to deal one of them? That is the big question here. So the obvious fix has to do with Middleton. Banged up since their championship with double ankle surgery this offseason, and he comes back this year, throws Dame off. Like, instead of playing aggressive, being himself, Dame's all, looking to get shots for Chris, trying to, figure it out, which is what last year was for. So Doc moves Middleton to the bench, and they need help. Right now, Dame and Giannis are the top scoring duo in the NBA. Giannis has MVP-level stats, but to compete for a title, they need a 3rd best player. Somebody who can score 18 a night, complement Dame and Giannis, and defend. So who could that be? Well, we've got a list of official rumors and big names. John Gambadoro of Arizona Sports in Phoenix says the Bucks are among teams eyeing Jimmy Butler. So immediately, Kevin O'Connor says, Jimmy's reps told Milwaukee to stay away. But then Sam Amick of The Athletic says, no, I spoke with 2 sources that said Jimmy ain't told Milwaukee nothing. So would they be crazy enough to get Jimmy Butler? When they say desperate, are they that desperate? Well, Jimmy has had their number in the playoffs recently. One of the wildest playoff moments in recent memory, that last second bucket in the 22 playoffs, scoring 38 points per game in the series. ESPN says they are desperate, so maybe they want that guy on their team. But a key to all of this will be getting under the second apron. All the Bucks need to do is trade Pat Connaughton and a 2031 second to the Pistons, which gets them under the second apron and allows Milwaukee to send back multiple players in a trade like Jimmy Butler for Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, Andre Jackson Jr., Ryan Rollins, and their first-round pick. Miami gets 2 good young players and a valuable first. It's exactly what the Heat are looking for. No joke, I think the Bucks could make this trade tomorrow if they really wanted. The only risk is Jimmy's age and having just 2 months to gel with Dame and Giannis before the playoffs. Now, people have also speculated Bradley Beal, but that got shot down real quick. Instead, insider Jake Fisher says, I do know Milwaukee is looking at options to improve on the wing. They checked out and were interested in the concept of Brandon Ingram in December. Now, Brandon Ingram recently got injured, so it's less likely, but that 4th All-Star is Zach LaVine. Zach is having one of his best, most efficient seasons ever. If the Bucks have the defense locked, why not add an all-star scorer? Now, LaVine has recently said he'd like to stay in Chicago after all, but the Bulls are still shopping him. So do the Bucks have enough to get it done? Well, after the second apron is taken care of, they'd have to trade almost every good young player and their 2031 first-round pick. That would be a wild swing, killing their depth, so I'm not sure it's even worth it. But what about one of the cheaper options? Jake Fisher also says the Milwaukee Bucks have made calls around the league in an attempt to find a lob threat to complement Brook Lopez. What does that mean? Well, Brook can't defend on the perimeter. Only Giannis can, out of their bigs. Also, if Doc needs athleticism, he has to go to Giannis. So what if they got a big who could help Giannis out? One smaller name would be Larry Nance Jr. He's athletic, defends, and at least has signs of an outside shot. The Hawks have buried him on their bench, so all it would take is getting Larry Nance for Bobby Portis and that 2031 second-round pick. By the way, Nance is injured until February anyway. Why wouldn't the Hawks want a valuable second for a guy who's not even playing? But the more expensive, impactful move is Robert Williams in Portland. Time Lord is the #1 most wanted center around the NBA trade market. He offers rim protection, rebounding, defends in space, catches lobs. Limitations are shooting and injury risk, but the Bucks are desperate. One report even said, with the Bucks being more open to moving below the second apron and possibly trading Chris Middleton, keep an eye on Jeremy Grant and Robert Williams III for them. So what does that even look like? They get him for Steven Adams and Andre Jackson Jr. plus 2 seconds to the Blazers. The Rockets getting Bobby Portis. Now, Portland would get a young player and 2 seconds. The Bucks flip Bobby to Houston to have access to their picks. The Rockets do this because behind Alperen Sengun, all they have in the front court are old Jeff Green, injured Jabari Smith, and Jock Landale. There will be other offers for Robert Williams, but Milwaukee really doesn't want to include their 2031 first-round pick. But something huge is going to happen. If ESPN says that Milwaukee is near Suns desperate, it could be gigantic. It turns out the Bucks are better than we thought this year, but they do need one more piece to get over the top. But speaking of trades, D'Angelo Russell is off the Lakers, but did you see how hyped LeBron was to defend D'Angelo Russell the other night? What is up with that? It turns out we now know why LeBron traded D'Lo.